Hey, it's the new progressive. Normally, I script my videos, as you saw with my last video. Normally, I do some editing with them. As you can see, the icons that I had in my last video are not here. It's just a blank screen, and that's for a reason, because this is not a scripted video. This is something I have to say immediately, right now, as of a news report that just hit the New York Times about 15 minutes ago. Um, because of this, it is still incredibly new news. No other news has made any articles on it as of yet. And because of that, I can't script a video. I can't write out what I need to. I just need to alert people and talk without a script because it is that urgent. I have to get it out to get this out as quickly as possible, despite my penchant and desire to always deliver straight to the point, good reporting. As you see, I'm quite stuttery when it comes to these things without me writing a script first, but that doesn't matter. As of this is June 21st, 2025. As of a New York Times article last updated at 8 p.m. 20 minutes ago on June 21st, 2025, the United States has dropped bombs on 3 nuclear sites in Iran on today, bringing the U.S. military directly into Israel's war with Iran after days of uncertainty of whether he would intervene in the conflict. The United States of America is now at war with Iran. This marks, I'm fairly certain, the first time America has been at official war, not through volunteer forces or such, considering we were technically, I'm not exactly sure if we were technically at war with the Taliban officially or such, but the fact that our bombers flying our flag, have just hit Iran is a far different matter than anything we've done in recent memory. The closest thing I can tell you so far is that this is most liably to end up in a scenario very similar to the early 2000s invasion of Iraq, which de-seated Saddam Hussein, or perhaps the Gulf War. Perhaps more likely the Gulf War, considering that was a war. I'm sorry, my mind's a little bit everywhere right now. I normally I'm right on it with my historical facts, but right. This is most likely to be something more akin to the Gulf War, um, or to the U.S. invasion of Iraq later. And look, I can't deliver great speeches off the top of my head. I can't. I saw a Twitter tag just a second ago as I logged in to look for, ironically, something not related to politics whatsoever. I didn't realize what was going on at the time until a friend on another social media site alerted me to that, and then I saw it again. That Twitter tag, that trending Twitter tag said, "Now is the time for peace." The time for peace was well over 2,000 years ago. The time for peace struck at the exact moment that the sentient thought first hit in a modern human's brain. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade, and every century since has been the time for peace. It has been the time for all nations, for all peoples, to do the just thing. To look at each scenario, each geopolitical attack, conflict, crisis with discerning eyes, and regardless of our future, of our past partnerships, to decide who was in the right, who was in the wrong, and what would be the cost of getting involved in such a thing ourselves. I will tell you, only yesterday did President Trump tell us he was going to arrive at a conclusion of whether we should put boots in the ground, as they say, within 2 weeks. You can hear fireworks going off now. I'm not sure if that's for July 4th or if that's for this new news. Could be either. I live in a pretty conservative state, so I'm fairly certain that could be either. We now know that he has been, if not other things, decisive. Instead of waiting 2 weeks, he took 1 day, about 48 hours since he announced that he would be thinking it over, to 1 to 2 days. Because of this, all I can say is that there seems to have been no thought put into this. I, as a progressive, and I'm most certain any solid-minded libertarian, green, Democrat, or even Republican of any true American nature should see that we should not send more boys to die in the Middle East. Again, we're doing this again. For what? Because one nation hit the other nation, so we have to get involved. Why do we always have to get involved? I'm sorry. Partnerships change. As a businessman, Donald J. Trump should know this. As a businessman, things shift. And if Israel was once our ally, now they're dragging us along. Like some kid telling their dad, or telling somebody that their dad will beat up their dad. That's what this is. That this is a nation pulling us in for no reason other than to say, look how powerful I am. Look what allies I can get. And people will die because of this. And I don't give a damn what nation those people were born in. We could have sought peace. For about a week ago, we were seeking peace until Israel struck first. I don't give a damn again about the historical precedent. In this specific scenario, in this specific event, Israel struck first. Yes, Iran is a regional threat. Yes, we should be trying to limit their nuclear resources by bombing the hell out of another Middle Eastern nation. We are yet again on the same path we were, or the same path that we started in 2000. We have been on the same resounding merry-go-round for far too long. It is time to get off the damn ride. There's no point to this shit anymore. Only that Israelis die, only that Americans die, only that Iranians die, only that Palestinians die. At this point, how much death is too much death? How many torn families does it take for a single warmonger to say, maybe we could give diplomacy a chance? And look, I get it. I would criticize the hell out of Neville Chamberlain too, but this isn't fucking Hitler, okay? We were on our way to a peace deal until Israel struck it and then said, get in here and help. Or get in here and help me bully someone. Do you understand this? My personal opinions aside, the United States of America has launched an offensive strike against Iran. It does not matter what your beliefs are, even if you believe this war is justified. You cannot, without being called a liar, call this a defensive strike. We are the attacker. We are the aggressor. We are the person who was called in by this fake ally of ours that continues to drain us of money, of resources, of weaponry, all for their own cause and for no cause of our own. We are the aggressor in this new war, and I don't see a damn purpose to it. I don't know what happens from here. If I'm being honest, I have not lived in an age yet in which the US has been at full-scale military conflict with a nation, especially of Iran's relative might, at least in their region of the world. Again, we were at war. We were at technical war with the Taliban. We deployed far too many troops in an ultimately pointless mission anyway there. But this is different. There could be drafts. There could be invasions that result in direct army occupation. I can't believe this. We could be marching to Tehran. As we know, the Israeli and American view of the war was to stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. Now, of course, the issue here is that
holy shit, it's going down.
Cat. Now, of course, the initial war goal for both the Israeli and American mindset is to stop Iran from gaining nuclear weapons. Now, first of all, Israel has been warmongering and essentially lying, using this as propaganda for the past 20 years. Iran has not really gotten ever closer to getting a nuclear weapon. For the past few decades, Israel has claimed Iran was getting close to a nuclear weapon, that they were getting ever closer and ever closer and ever closer, but nothing has ever come of it. Now, do I think that Iran is not going to get them or doesn't intend to get them? No. I think they do. Absolutely. Israel has nuclear weapons, for the record. Israel already has nukes, and do with that information what you need, or come to those conclusions as you need. But personally, I don't see the need for us to be involved whatsoever when they have their own regions to deal with, and that is not our region. The only thing America has over there officially is a few military bases that should have been closed down long, long ago. We should have brought our boys home long, long ago. The other reason, the lesser talked about reason to attack Iran was due to both the American military high command and the Israeli military high command wanting immediate regime change in Iran. Now, that doesn't come easily. You don't just bomb a person until they say, I'm leaving office and changing the entire nation into another system. No, that only happened in Iraq after we walked into Baghdad. My point is, if Iran does not back down, as it said, as I believe they said they won't, and if we do not immediately rescind, which, as we clearly see, the Trump administration's only real prerogative throughout this entirety, whether it was the LA protests or anything else throughout this term, has not been de-escalation but escalation. We could very well be looking at a direct American invasion of Iran with the set goal of attempting to overthrow the Ayatollah's regime there and set up yet another unstable military government in the Middle East. For funsies, of course. This whole thing is a horrible situation. A horrible idea. What I don't want to see is my generation, the next generation, the previous. What I don't want to see is a damn military draft. And I will be out in the streets. I will be rioting with the rest of my generation if there is a damn military draft. I am not going to fight in your war. I hope you understand that. Pointless, useless war that will only take more lives and either do nothing or do worse. Even I don't know what else to say at the moment. Perhaps I've said my piece. I should mention one thing, at least, so you know where this is coming from. I'm going to get some of these dates wrong, so I encourage you to do a couple of historical fact checking and a bit of your own research into the subject. But here's what I know. In the 60s, Iran was a democratic republic, much akin to the United States. Whether they believed in a certain religion over others or such, whatever. My point is, they were liberalizing. I believe at that time, Iranian women were finally able to show their hair in public. They were getting to a point at which, had we not interfered, they could have been a regional ally for us, not a regional enemy. Due to earlier British colonization in the region, earlier business deals in the region, and such like that, the British nationalized Iranian oil fields. Essentially, the British were taking oil from Iran for themselves. They were taking Iranian oil and porting it back to Britain basically for free. They were basically stealing Iranian oil through some underhanded business deal, whatever. The Iranians democratically elected a leader. This was, again, an elected leader, a president, if you will. I believe his title is prime minister, but for the American perspective, let's call him a president. This was not a corrupted president. This was a true Iranian democratically elected leader. He got into office on the sheer acknowledgement, the sheer hope and claim that he was going to nationalize those oil fields, that he was going to take Iranian oil back to Iran and take it away from the British. The British contacted us. said they'd give us a cut of the deal or some sort, and we both the CIA and MI6 launched a joint co-mission to overthrow that prime minister, that president, if you will, in Iran, just to keep some damn oil. That was it. In the end, the regime that we propped up, the Shah of Iran, we put them back under a monarchy to keep that oil for ourselves, for the West. In the end, the Shah was then overthrown again. Instead of having a democratically elected leader, because Iran went from monarchy to a democracy to a monarchy, and then to what we have now, which is an Islamic republic. It's basically a religious dictatorship. The Ayatollah Khomeini overthrew the Shah we had put in power and then nationalized the oil fields anyway. And now we have the enemy. That enemy specifically is an enemy to us that chants death to us because we overthrew their democratic republic. We started this all the long time ago. We have not just been the ones who've just bombed Iran today, but we were the ones who were responsible for the Ayatollah's regime coming into power in the first place. I cannot stress that enough. We are bombing the regime that if we had just not intervened all that time ago in the 60s, if we had not interfered, we are now bombing a regime that we had almost direct hand in coming to power. It was our actions that provided the pretense for the Iranian Revolution that led to the regime that hates us now. This was our doing. And we have the audacity, the sheer audacity, to attack Iran. We did this. We bombed them, and we practically are the only reason that the regime we're now seeking to overthrow is in power at all. This was all probably going to happen, but it didn't have to. Now, we can focus on the acts of our ancestors. We can focus on the acts of past presidents and their horrible, idiotic decisions that have quite possibly led another generation of good Americans to the trenches. But we can't do that. To dwell on the past is to kill your future. You have to look to the future now. But to be honest, I can't tell you what you need to do. Well, I can. Oh no. No. You need to prepare. Iran's closest ally, I believe, is Russia. If we have been called into this war by our, I don't even know what to call them, our child murdering friends. If we have been called into this war by our closest ally, what have they ever given us, for the record? But that's a topic for another day. If we have been called in the war by our closest ally in the region, Iran may well call in its closest ally in the region, divided by only one nation, that nation being Azerbaijan. Now, just pray to God, pray to Allah, pray to whoever the hell you believe in, that Russia does not get involved in this. We are standing on a precipice. The world is once more tilted towards war. Albert Einstein once said, I do not know which with weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. What I am telling you to do right now is to prepare, to know where you will be safest, because I will be honest, we have many protections. NORAD covers us. The Iron Dome, for the most part, covers Israel. We are, for the most part, safe. But I will add another emphasis onto for the most part. You can never be 100% secure. You can never be 100% invincible. Technology always fails someday. So you need to know now, just in case, where the closest bunkers are to you. You need to stock up on a few things, namely food, because the last time an event of any magnitude happened to America, which was the COVID pandemic, the first things to go was toilet paper and all the food on the shelves. So you need to have what you need to survive in a mass panic. You need to know that there will, with how mobilized the left has been in the nation, we had what some called, I believe, the largest protests in American history for No King's Day just a few weeks ago. This was over a hell of a lot of abuses, but in comparison to this, that was over nothing. In comparison to this, what you need to expect is that with how mobilized the left and the right have been, for the right assassinated people already, and the right has called for the left to be essentially a numerous. You can see the screenshots. You can go find them yourself. But there have been multiple instances of different elected officials calling for the death of other elected officials on their other side of the aisle, and America has never been as divided, I think, as it is now. And we are entering a war as a divided nation. This could be a precipice. This could be a breaking point. No one wants a civil war, and I'm not exactly sure if we'll get one over this. And I don't think this will do it. But I can only assume that in the next few days, protests over this will immediately be organized as well. Bless you. And bless all of us, for the record. I can't tell you what magnitude these will be at, but this is over a much more urgent and much more serious threat to all Americans. To all Americans than anything previous that this administration has done. So there will be protests. There might be riots. There might be panic in the streets. I can't tell you what to expect, but I can only tell you to prepare, to have a weapon, to hold your loved ones close, to hope to God that those loved ones are not drafted and taken away to fight in some fucking desert again. You can only hope that you yourself are not drafted and know the tactics to not be drafted. I don't think a good amount of Americans want to invade Iran. I don't think a good amount of Americans thought that bombing them was the path to go. I can't change a lot of people's minds on this. So regardless of whether you're a conservative, regardless of whether you're a liberal or a centrist, or I don't care, in the current state, in the current moment, we are Americans. We are all Americans who have been betrayed by our government for the sake of a useless war that will only do more of us. We will not die like our forefathers. Our forefathers died fighting fascism. They died fighting Nazism. They died honorably. They died for the best cause this world has ever seen, to stop true terror. No one should have to put up with this. Not the American people, not the Iranian people. So again, all I can tell you is to prepare. To have a weapon, to stockpile some food, no matter the economy, to stockpile toilet paper for damn sure, and just to get ready for anything. If you ever wanted to do anything, not anything, don't take that the wrong way. If you ever wanted to move out of America, if you ever, you know what, let's just stick with that one. If you ever wanted to move out of America, the time is now. That's my point. I don't doubt that the next few weeks will be hard for us all, regardless of political affiliation. The next few weeks, the differing opinions on this brand new war will most likely tear people's relationships apart. But our threat is not each other. Our threat is the government, which has previously said that they would not rule out the military invasion, military operation into Greenland, that they would not rule out military operations into Canada or Panama. And now, as we see that without a speck of thought, we will attack Iran for nothing of our own goals, for the record. Because I saw once a Republican, I forget who it was, but a Republican who had posted on Twitter some generated video of LA bathed in nuclear hellfire, the Golden Gate Bridge being involved in the being struck in by. That's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you that now. Don't give in to the fear-mongering that will occur over the next few weeks, for the one record. Because again, the threat is coming from inside the house. The threat is using this as a way to turn your eyes away from things that are happening here at home, and as a way to ship off and demoralize and desensitize the American people by sending them off to war. There are numerous reasons that the Trump administration has done this. I take it back. There was a speck of thought. There was far more, but none of it is benevolent. All of it, every single reason is malevolent, and it is malevolent to us, to all of us. So trust me, keep your damn eyes open. Worry a lot, but not too much. Protect yourselves, feed yourselves, and prepare. Good luck to you, indeed. As a fellow American, no matter who you are, I have a patriotic duty to love you. At least, that's what I should, and that's what every brother in this nation and every sister in this nation should do, regardless of whether, at the current moment, we do or not. I love you all. God help us all. And this has been The New Progressive.